I take you to the jewel of the Archdiocese. I've been speaking about the jewels in the Archdiocese, and many people have been telling me that they are quite happy with it because, there are certain things that are not obvious. We have to bring them out. If I have got a jewel which is kept in my cupboard, okay, it's there safe. But if I bring it and keep it on the table, everyone will admire it. Are such a beautiful jewel that you have. So therefore many people have told me that, Bishop, it's good that you are bringing out certain jewels of the Archdiocese, which not that were not known, were not obvious for us. We took it for granted. So they could be our structures, our heritage places, our pilgrimage centers, our churches, our institutions. So many things are there. A jewel is not confined to one particular category. It's the whole category that is in the Archdiocese. So therefore this time I'm going to speak of a jewel of our Archdiocese, and that jewel is Archbishop Emeritus Alphonsus Mathias. He is still living with us. He is almost 97 year old, and this year on the 5th of February, he celebrated the Diamond Jubilee of his Episcopal consecration, which means he is a bishop now almost for the 60 years of his life. And therefore, besides on the 5th of the month, 5th of February, I was in the meetings with the CBCI bishops all over India, and we could not celebrate as a diocese, but the bishops brought Archbishop Mathias to the venue where the Mass was celebrated. He was brought in a wheelchair and we all greeted him. But then I thought this is not enough, and seeking the help and support of St. John's, I arranged one more Mass or celebration for him on the 29th of February, and to celebrate as an Archdiocese something that we are grateful to God for the person, for the jewel that God gave us for our Archdiocese and for the whole of Karnataka. I would say the Church in India and abroad. You will be surprised to say that he is one of the oldest bishops in India as bishop. There is supposed to be another bishop who is perhaps 1 year older than him, but then Archbishop Mathias is one of the oldest bishops consecrated in India. And secondly, he is also one of the 5 or 6 bishops or the delegates that were present for the Second Vatican Council. 1964, it ended in 1964. The whole church was involved in this, what's called the Vatican Council, the renewal, which was started by Pope John the 23rd, Saint Pope John the 23rd. And very few bishops from India, perhaps 20-30 bishops from India attended that sessions, and from all over the world there were about 2,000 or 3,000 bishops sitting together. And in this group was Archbishop Alphonsus Mathias, sitting as a representative of the whole country. And now we are told is, of course, many of the bishops have died, many of those delegates were there died. There are just about 5 or 6 in the whole world, and one of them in the whole of Asia and India is Archbishop Emeritus Alphonsus Mathias. He hails from a place called Pangla in Mangalore. And something interesting about Pangla is this place is famous for jasmine. The smell, the scent of jasmine, the what we call the beautiful aroma of jasmine. When you bring 1 or 2 flowers and keep it here, the whole room, as it were, comes in a beautiful way as something that is acceptable for all of us. Therefore, this particular flower brings. Why am I saying that? Archbishop was born in a place called Pangla, which is jasmine, which gives flavor to the whole country, and perhaps it gives the beautiful lingering odor, and that is Archbishop Alphonsus himself. He is like that jasmine that is spreading through his life and his presence, through his grace, and through his perhaps a little smile or activity or interaction with us, this jasmine type of smell or odor all through Bangalore. He was born on 22nd June 1922. His parents were Diego Mathias and Filomena de Souza, and he was ordained a priest. He was sent all the way to Kandy, what's called the Papal Seminary, for training. And that time going to Kandy or Sri Lanka, Ceylon it was called, is as good as going to somewhere in Europe or America, crossing the shore. But then he did his studies there in the highest degree, as it were, and he was ordained a priest on 24th of August 1954 for the Diocese of Bangalore. And for 10 years he worked as an assistant, worked as a assistant priest, a secretary of the bishop, and in between also he did his studies in Rome of the highest canon law category with the highest grades that we call summa cum laude, they call it. And he did it in canon law. He also did what's called the jurisprudence, a special course that was to be done for the judges, for the legal luminaries of the church. The course he has done, and he came back and he was secretary to the Bishop of Mangalore when he was elected as the Bishop of Chikmagalur, which was just formed that time. He is the first Bishop of Chikmagalur because the diocese was born with him. He was ordained as Bishop on 5th of February 1964 by James Robert Knox, the pronuncio of India. So he was ordained ordained as priest on 24th of August 1954 and ordained as bishop on 5th February 1964. That means he was just 10 years a priest, and I was told that he was one of the youngest bishop in the world at the age of 35 or 36 to be made a bishop. And that is why he is now 60 years as bishop, one of the foremost bishops. And as I said, he participated in the Vatican Council, not only as an ordinary bishop, as one of the periti, we call it, periti experts. The experts. Actually, Father Adrian Mascarenhas has done a little study on this, on his participation in the Vatican Council, and he says that Archbishop Mathias made 4 major contributions in Latin in the Council. And the fathers must have been surprised that a young bishop coming from India is not only speaking in Latin but making contributions to the church wisdom by his interventions. He was transferred from Chikmagalur to Bangalore as the Archbishop on 12th of September 1986. And so he was Archbishop of Bangalore for almost 12 years, and he has constructed so many churches, bought so many lands, presbyteries, institutions. There is no count of them. There is no count of them. When I go to some of our churches, suddenly when I see that slab stone plaque there, I see Archbishop Matthias's name. And when I see the registers and records, so many lands that have been bought, so many institutions that have been bought. And so after 12 years, for reasons of ill health, Archbishop offered his resignation on 24th of March 1998. And ever since he has been in St. John's Medical College. There is a room that has been allotted to him in a quarters called Vianney Home, where the priests are staying. And therefore on the 29th of this month, we call the Archbishop for a Eucharist with us. He was all the time in the wheelchair, and there were about 115 people from the diocese, the fathers, the sisters, the religious, some of his family members, some of the doctors also, and we expressed our gratitude and felicitated him a little. We were also grateful for St. John's management, Father Yesudas, the new director, for giving us occasion to celebrate with our Archbishop the Diamond Jubilee of his consecration. As I said, he continues to be a shining jewel of the Archdiocese.